The fence that's been standing for years is finally coming down, making way for a fresh change. The process begins with a deep breath, gloves on, and tools in hand. It's not just about removing a fence, it's about transforming the space entirely. Each section of the fence tells a story: worn paint, weathered wood, and vines that have claimed their territory over time. But today, it's time to bid farewell to the old and embrace the new. The first post is always the toughest. The ground clings to it like a memory, unwilling to let go. A crowbar slips into position, and the satisfying creak of wood signals progress. Piece by piece, the structure is dismantled, revealing a clearer, open space. The sunlight streams through the gap, highlighting just how much of a difference the absence of a fence can make. It's hard work, sure, but there's something liberating about watching the transformation unfold. With the fence sections coming down, attention turns to the pots lining the east fence line. They've been a part of the landscape for so long that it's hard to imagine the space without them. Each pot carries its weight, some with delicate succulents, others with tall, sprawling plants. Moving them requires care and strategy, especially when dealing with the heavier ones. One by one, the pots are lifted, revealing what's been hidden underneath: forgotten soil, tiny insects scurrying to escape the light, and the occasional tangle of roots that's found its way into the ground. It's a chance to assess each plant's health and decide where they'll go next. Some will find new homes in other parts of the garden, while others will take a temporary seat on the patio. As each pot is moved, the fence line becomes a blank canvas, ready for whatever comes next. The next challenge is clearing the debris left behind. The remnants of the fence are gathered and sorted, recyclable materials in one pile, wood to be repurposed in another. It's a reminder that even as things are torn down, they can still serve a purpose. The area is swept clean, revealing a surprisingly large amount of space that had been hidden in plain sight. With the fence down and the pots moved, it's time to shift focus to the studio. Over time, it's become a bit of a catch-all for tools, supplies, and miscellaneous items. A tidy-up is long overdue, and today is the day to get it done. Walking into the studio, it's clear that organization will be key. Shelves are stacked high with boxes, drawers are crammed full, and the workbench is barely visible under the clutter. Starting with one corner, items are pulled out, assessed, and categorized. Tools that haven't been used in years are set aside for donation, while others are given a proper cleaning and a designated spot. It's a satisfying process, even if it's a bit overwhelming at first. As the clutter clears, the potential of the space becomes more apparent. A clean workbench, neatly organized shelves, and labeled storage bins make all the difference. The process isn't without its surprises. Forgotten projects come to light, sparking memories and a few laughs. That half-finished birdhouse, the jar of mysterious screws, and the roll of fabric that was supposed to become curtains, they all tell a story. Some will finally be completed, while others are deemed unnecessary and let go. As the hours pass, the studio begins to feel less like a storage unit and more like a functional space. The floors are swept, the windows cleaned, and the air feels lighter somehow. It's amazing what a bit of tidying up can do. With everything in its place, the studio is ready to be put to use again, whether for gardening projects, DIY repairs, or creative endeavors. By the end of the day, the transformation is undeniable. The fence is gone, the pots are relocated, and the studio is refreshed and organized. The space feels open, inviting, and full of potential. There's a sense of accomplishment that comes with seeing such a drastic change in a single day. The journey doesn't end here, though. This is just the beginning of what's to come. The open fence line will need a new purpose, whether that's a garden bed, a trellis, or something entirely different. The pots will find new spots to thrive, and the studio will become the hub for the next wave of projects. With the old fence now a thing of the past, it's time to start visualizing the next steps. What will replace it? A lush hedge, a sleek modern fence, or maybe a more open design like a trellis to support climbing plants. Let's take a moment to sketch out the possibilities and get creative. The first idea is a simple, clean-lined modern fence with horizontal slats. It's contemporary, functional, and provides just enough privacy while allowing the garden to breathe. Another option is planting a natural hedge, like fast-growing laurels or tall grasses, which can soften the edges of the space and attract wildlife. But what about reusing the materials from the old fence? Recycling the wood into a raised garden bed or custom planters not only adds charm but also reduces waste. The idea of giving the weathered wood a second life is exciting. It keeps the character of the garden intact while moving forward with a new purpose. The pots are sorted by size, color, and plant type. Grouping similar plants together creates a harmonious look and ensures they get the care they need. The larger pots with small trees or tall plants go toward the back, while the smaller pots, filled with succulents and herbs, take their place at the front. A new pattern emerges, a combination of staggered heights and clusters that create depth and interest. Decorative stones are laid down to frame the pots, adding a touch of elegance. By the time the last pot is placed, the area feels transformed, a fresh new look that breathes life into the garden. Change is never easy, but it's always worth it. Taking down a fence, moving pots, and tidying up a studio may seem like small tasks on their own, but together, they represent progress. It's a reminder that with a bit of effort and a clear vision, any space can be transformed into something new and exciting. And there's nothing more satisfying than standing back at the end of the day and taking it all in, a job well done, and a future full of possibilities.